Good evening, everyone. This is Amit. I'm a technical marketing engineer with Converged Infrastructure Business Unit at NetApp. I focus on open ecosystem solutions with FlexPod and HCI. With that, we'll do a short demo of running a persistent storage application in OpenShift on NetApp HCI. I would like to actually start with re-quoting someone or retweeting someone. So most of us here would have used Stack Overflow, right? So Jeff Atwood is one of the co-founders of Stack Overflow. And this actually expresses the sentiment that people have around DevOps or across the industry. So it's about how much time does it take to actually have one word change in your final product. So basically how you can enable your customers to get the new products and features really quickly. And this is like the least common denominator. So for example, if you have a spelling mistake, how long does it take it to correct it? And this is where DevOps comes into picture, both the practices as well as the automation. So with that, basically we'll be running an application with persistent storage needs and cloning it. So it's a pretty simple application, a Node.js server and a MongoDB database. So MongoDB database stores the state for your Node.js server. Then we clone the database volume, and then finally we attach the cloned volume back to the server. So this is a typical OpenShift application catalog where you have a lot of pre-canned applications. So we are going to deploy Node.js and MongoDB. One thing to understand here is Trident is already deployed in this setup. This is running on NetApp HCI. Trident is already deployed, so it manages the storage requests or any requests for persistent storage. So with that, we were able to spin up the application, and the page count values are basically stored in the database. As you can see, it gets incremented on every refresh. Now what we are going to do is go and log into the container, or the pod, I should say. And then first we need to quiz the database so that the database is not in an inconsistent state. So first we go into the database, stop the database using a standard fsync log command. Now our database is stopped, so we can actually now clone the database. So what we are going to do is exit out of this pod and then use one of the standard clone templates that Trident has along with the sum of the sample inputs. One of the important things here to understand is clones aren't exposed as first-class citizens in, clones aren't exposed as first-class citizens inside Kubernetes, and Trident enables you to actually clone your volumes. This is true for ONTAP-based backends as well as element-based backends. So we specify that use an existing volume, MongoDB, and clone it. The name that we give for the clone volume is MongoDB -clone. So we created a new persistent volume claim. Now, as we can see, it is created on, as we can see the clone volume on the UI of element UI, and this UI is integrated into NetApp HCI. So basically, you can manage your compute and storage resources from there. Next, what we are going to do is change the database volume for our server. So we go to the deployment config and modify the volume that we are using. So we were using a MongoDB volume. We are going to change that to MongoDB-clone we just created. And this actually triggers a new build job where actually the new volume is built and it is attached to the pod. So all this build job occurs behind the scenes. We can verify that the new clone volume is attached, and we can see that the page counts are incremented as we go further. So regarding this, we just released a reference architecture or a NetApp verified architecture for running OpenShift container platform on NetApp HCI. The following are the links to the design guide. It gives a high-level view, and the deployment guide, which goes into detail on how-tos. It basically covers the OpenShift VM sizing, the deployment mechanisms, and covers Trident deployment, some of the recommended practices, and basically some solution operations to verify that you have actually successfully deployed the solution. These are a couple of sessions that I would recommend. The first one that would go in detail for the solution. The first one is deploying Red Hat OpenShift container platform on NetApp HCI. This is again on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. And the second one goes into more technical details on the OpenShift storage aspects and how NetApp Trident enables them and how both of them dovetail together. This is at 4:45 now, so feel free to stop by, and you can connect with me on Twitter, and I'm pretty active on Twitter, so feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.